You're listening to the Health Powered Productivity Podcast by RaderCo. I'm Marcey Rader, founder and chief productivity lead. This podcast aims to give you and your team bite-sized, time-saving, focus-boosting, health-improving tips you can implement right away. Do you have a desktop full of files and can't even see the photo on your screen? Does that constant storage is full message haunt your digital life? Well, it's time to give your digital laundry a much-needed cleanse. In my book, Work Well, Play More, Productive, Clutter-Free, Healthy Living, One Step at a Time, I dive into the world of decluttering, but not in the traditional sense. We're not talking about just your physical spaces. We're also talking about the digital realm, where clutter can be just as overwhelming. Now, when you hear the word declutter, you might picture tidying up your physical space, and that's completely reasonable. But guess what? Our digital clutter can be just as detrimental, if not more so. According to McKinsey, employees spend an average of 1.8 hours daily searching for information. I'm going to say that again. According to McKinsey, employees spend an average of 1.8 hours daily searching for information. Interact's study revealed that 19.8% of work time is wasted in information searches. I know this is true. I work with clients that when we do personal coaching, we'll ask them, where are things stored? And they'll say, well, sometimes they're stored in OneDrive or they're stored on a Z drive. Sometimes they're just in our email. And when we go in and work with companies, I actually am working with a company right now that we are streamlining if this, then that. If it's this type of document or request, then it goes in that type of file or, program. If this, then that. And making it very clear for people where they're supposed to put things. It is precious time we could be spending on more critical tasks. We should not be spending so much time searching. But back to declutter. Let's just start with your desktop screen because that is under your control. All those files cluttering your desktop aren't just slowing down your computer, they're also stealing your sense of ease. A few years ago, I had a client who had a desktop background of a photo of her and her infant son at the beach. It was just adorable. But I could hardly see the picture because of all the files she had on her desktop. And when I asked her about the documents, she didn't even know what some of them were and had to open them. And she's, click open. Oh, I don't need this anymore. Oh, this is from last year. And I said, don't you want to see that little baby belly? Because the picture, she was holding her baby and then had a little fat baby belly. And it was so cute. And she said, yes, I do. So her goal, we made her goal, was to reduce the number of files until she could see that cute little guy and his little belly and feel joy when she opened up her computer instead of being overwhelmed. And if your child, family, vacation photo is ever the background, for your desktop screen, you want to see that and feel happy and not all those files on top of it and feel overloaded. And, that could really be a metaphor I'm thinking about right now. When we think about prioritization, is your work, all of those things more important than your family because, on your desktop screen, it's on top of your family. I mean, this might feel extreme to some, but it could be a good metaphor. So here are 3 wallpaper options for your desktop that you could use instead. One, you could put your priorities, and this is listing, take a PowerPoint slide and list your top 3 priorities or goals for the month or the week, and set it as your wallpaper. A friend of mine and I also used to do this, and we would put our top 3 priorities for the month so it was always staring at us. So bonus productivity booster. Another option is to choose an inspiring photo that brings you joy. My desktop tends to change to, depending on the year or what's going on. But right now it's collages of my husband and I. We have a tradition of going to Ben & Jerry's every month on the 19th. Our first date was on the 19th of October. We got married on the 19th, and we have been to Ben & Jerry's on the 19th of every month, plus or minus a day, for 30 plus years. So it's a collage of photos at Ben & Jerry. And then it could also just be white space. And you could opt for completely white screen to remind yourself to create more white space or open space in your life. Because then when you put a file on it, it's like, or it could just be, a clean screen, any color you want. Now let's just tackle digital hoarding. And those are the countless photos, videos, and files taking up precious space, not to mention wasting your time. How are they a time waster? Remember the last time you wanted to show someone a photo on your phone and it took you longer than they had patience to find it? And you're just scrolling. Or maybe you were waiting while they scrolled to show you that must-see photo and it took them so long to find the photo you weren't even interested anymore. Or it set it up like it took them 2 minutes to find the photo and you're like, okay, that is what you wanted to show me so bad? It's time to Marie Kondo your digital life. As soon as you take a picture or a bunch of them, go through and ruthlessly delete the ones that aren't great or relevant. There is no reason to keep multiple images of the same people and pose. I just had this happen. I was at the Thrive conference and, of course you take pictures with people and, the people that I would ask to take pictures, like one of them took like 8 pictures and we're basically doing the same thing, same pose. And so I just quickly deleted 6 of them. And then I looked at the last 2, looked at 2 of them and then decided which one was best. And I got rid of the other one. The next time you're waiting in line for something, just pull out your phone and start ruthlessly deleting pictures that aren't relevant, don't look good, or are no longer interesting to you. And with digital photos now, there is no reason to keep a photo where you do not look fabulous in it. All right. For files, you want to schedule a monthly cleanup. And maybe you set a recurring task. I have a recurring task on my list that says every month it's a monthly cleanup. And one of those things that I do is go through any file that has been on my desktop. No file stays on for more than a month because I do keep some quick stuff that I need, but never more than like 4 or 5. And also they go away or get stored somewhere at the end of the month. So schedule a monthly cleanup, spend a few minutes scanning through your recently downloaded files and send any unnecessary ones to the trash. It's quick, it's easy, and ensures you find what you need when you need it. Now, let's talk about your smartphone. Do you have a ton of apps you never use? If so, you are not alone. The average person has around 80 apps, but only uses a handful daily. And unused apps they're storage hogs and can clutter your digital space. So how to declutter your apps. If you have an Android device, open the Google Play Store, go to the menu in the top left corner and sort by last used. And then go to the ones that you haven't used for a year or 2 years and select those apps you want to uninstall. On an Apple device, it's nice because you can offload apps where you remove them from your device, but you keep the data in the cloud. And you just go to your settings, iTunes and App Store, and then scroll to offload unused apps and toggle it on. To delete apps, you can go to settings, general, iPhone storage, see what's taking up space. You'll see all your apps and think, I didn't even know this was on here. I don't even know what this is, and delete those. And then lastly, your contacts list. Scroll through and delete names you don't recognize or won't need to contact again. If you were at an Airbnb in San Francisco 3 years ago, you don't need their phone number anymore. It's a very satisfying task, and it leaves you with a cleaner, more manageable contact list. One thing that I wish they would let you do in the iPhone is select multiple and delete all at once. When they come out with that, they will make me so happy. One thing I did that saved me from an unwieldy contact list in my phone was choosing to not sync my Gmail contacts, which Gmail, we use the G Suite platform at RaderCo, not sync my Gmail contacts to my iPhone. Because I did not, I rarely email from my phone anyway, and a lot of times the contacts that are in your Gmail are just email addresses, and it just clogged up my phone. And sometimes I only email people once, and I don't want that contact on my phone. I'm never going to call them or email them. During the pandemic, I did something really fun while I was purging contacts. I went through one letter at a time, and I maybe got through 2 letters a week, and deleting people from my phone. But it reminded me to reach out to some of those people I hadn't talked to for a while. And I did it again. I did that same contact list purge, which was much easier this time, and called people. I did that within the last few months. So in the future, when you add someone to your phone or your email contacts, also quickly note in the notes section how you met them or what they look like to spark a memory. Many deleted ones, they didn't have this info, and I wish I had thought of it sooner. If I meet somebody, I'll quickly put a note in there. And then lastly, and this is physical clutter that goes along with your digital, don't hoard cords you can't identify. If you have the spaghetti monster of power cords, I use a little label thing to say, that this is my Kindle cord and things. You think you'll remember, but you won't. But donate extras to women's shelters. That is a really great place to do this, because a lot of people that end up going to a women's shelter, they're running out their house, or they're just grabbing what they can and getting out of there. And they're not always, taking a cord with them. But then also when you get a cord, right away label it for future use. By decluttering your digital devices, you'll save time, storage, and brain energy. It's a simple but effective way to boost productivity, because you're not wasting time, and regain peace of mind in our digital age. For more tips and in-depth strategies to liberate your greatness and declutter your way to a more productive, clutter-free, and healthy digital life, check out my book at workwellplaymore.com. Thank you for listening to the RaderCo Health Powered Productivity Podcast. The show notes link to any resources mentioned. If you found this podcast valuable, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone you know who could benefit. For more bite-sized tips, our top recommendations, and to learn more about working with myself and the RaderCo team, from consulting and coaching to speaking and more, visit helloraderco.com.